Anyway, I am really excited right now. We are now doing a new segment on the show that we have not done before, and I'm really stoked about it. It's called Ask Mack.
When you got a question and you need some insight, competition political, Mack is on your side. Go ahead and ask Mack. Woo-hoo. Go ahead and ask Mack. Woo-hoo.
Anyway, that's a new segment intro here. So if you have a question that you'd like me to answer on the air, you can ask your question in several ways. Again, you can always call into the show. I just said the number, so I won't say it again. But you can email us at talk@onthemoveshow.com. You can post your questions at our Facebook page, facebook.com/onthemoveshow, or you can tweet us at onthemoveshow. Just make sure that your tweets, they include the hashtag AskMack. So, and by the way, that's Mack, M-A-C-K. All right. Anyway, so I'll read your questions live on the air, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. So we have somebody from Twitter, Edmund Dantes, on Twitter. He asks, on the Move Show, U.S. roads are failing at an alarming rate. Who should pay, local or feds, and will they? So for right now, I think the issue is obvious that it should be dealt through local government. It should be a local policy thing that should be dealt with. But, in my opinion, I think we can get by without the federal government being involved in every aspect of our lives. In fact, I'd like to see the funding by the federal government eliminated for this kind of work, because they use this kind of road work funds to hold us hostage. The state governments, they say, hey, play ball on this, or we're going to cut your funding on this. And, they threaten to pull the funding if they step out of line in some way. So in my opinion, we can get by without the federal government taking over everything. And in fact, I don't think the federal government was ever meant to have this kind of broad-reaching power where they're supposed to be doing all this. I'm adamant that the federal government, was only meant to basically establish mutual protection pacts between the states, so where we can all work together for the common defense. And then on top of that, I think that it should have been, or actually I think that it was originally designed to increase trade agreements between the states, so basically ease the tensions that were going on at that point. But I don't think that the government the feds have any real reason to be a part of any other regulation, any other kind of control. I think that should all be handled by the states. And in my opinion, we can absolutely get by without the federal government taking over everything. And who better to take care of the roads than the people who actually drive on the roads? The local and state governments, those should be the ones that handle it. And I say the lowest form of government possible. I think it would be better if we did this kind of work without government at all. But, if we have to have government involved, let's keep it the most easily controllable form of government. And in my opinion, that's city and county government. So it's really difficult for us to influence change as a small community within the federal government. But a small community can absolutely easily change their local and county government if it tries to run amok. I mean, we can easily change city legislators. State legislators is a little harder, but, it's definitely possible. You just have to rally the troops. But the smaller the government, the easier it is for a small community or small organization to impact it. So thank you for that, Edmund. I really appreciate you getting involved in that. And actually, he had another question as well. He was asking about the ammo shortage is driving him crazy. And what do we have to solve this? It seems politics caused a run for buyers. So that's definitely an issue. I think a lot more people nowadays are getting afraid of the government trying to eliminate their gun rights, their constitutionally protected gun rights. Okay, so these aren't. First of all, I would just say that your rights aren't given to you by the Constitution. I know I say this all the time, but your rights are protected from the government by the Constitution. So as far as the run that we've seen on guns and ammunition, obviously the stores are very lacking. We're limited on what we can buy, how many boxes we can buy at a time. My thought on this is that I don't think it's so much as much caused by the people running to the stores to buy it? I mean, yes, it's definitely an issue, and I would say it's probably at least half of the issue. But we know for a fact that the Department of Homeland Security has been buying up ammunition. They've bought up at least, in modest reports, 70 million rounds. So 70 million rounds are off the market at that point, and that's modest speculations on that. But some speculations have been that they've purchased as much as 750 million rounds. I'm not necessarily saying that's correct, but that's what some people think are going on, and some people have some reports that can back it up. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's accurate, but I do know that the government is, in fact, buying up ammunition. And not to mention that they just recently closed a lead mine. That was through the EPA. The Obama administration closed one of our last lead mines in America. So now we see a situation where we already had a shortage to begin with. Now we can't produce lead, and they did that through executive action, basically, through regulation of the EPA. They're trying to regulate us out of our rights to bear arms. This is not what it was meant to be. This is not what our founders intended when they created the presidency. And I don't even know if Nixon had intended the EPA to be used in this way, but right now we see it is. Lead mines are closing down, and it's limiting the amount of ammo. If they can't pass a legislation to actually ban and outlaw firearms, they'll just get rid of your ability to get ammo. And we see this over and over again. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get rid of your rights. Anyway, we're moving on. We have another question here from Christian. He wanted me to comment on people claiming PTSD, that's post-traumatic stress disorder, from using Twitter, and they're claiming cyberbullying. So, I did my due diligence on this one. I at first I was kind of just gonna shove it off as something that's bullcrap, but I hadn't heard about this situation, and like I said, my immediate reaction was that it sounded a little bit ridiculous. Okay, so I found an article from the Daily Mail online. Melody Hensley, she claimed to suffer from PTSD as a result of a year's online harassment. Now she says she's too sick to go onto the internet. Ms. Hensley says she became a target because she's a feminist and an atheist. Ms. Hensley is now being attacked after saying that her PTSD is on par with war veterans. Okay, so let me be clear about one thing here. First of all, is I absolutely think that PTSD is a real issue. All right, and I think it should absolutely be taken very seriously. I deeply believe that, and I don't think that we should judge people or treat them like liars for admitting that they have a problem. So, but let's move on to this specific issue. I think that this woman, I think she made some very poor comparisons between what she is going through and what a war veteran goes through. If I were her, I would wish that I could take back those words, and I'm guessing that's what she wishes, but I don't know. I can't speak for her. I think that there's no way that you can compare what a war veteran went through and the kind of problems that they're having when they're adapting back to civilian life to someone being bullied on the internet. I don't think that you can compare that. That's apples and oranges. Now, they both may still be going through issues, but I don't think that you can compare the two. That's just me. That's just my opinion, my humble opinion. But with that said, I'm not trying to downplay Ms. Hensley's diagnosis. If she legitimately has post-traumatic stress disorder, then I hope she gets her help. I really do. I hope she gets help. But I would just like to point out that by my standards, getting bullied on the internet is pretty low on the trauma meter. I get people talking crap about me all the time, and if I didn't thicken up my skin a little bit, we'd have some real issues because I'd never get anything done if I let it bother me. So, I think that this woman, she either had a very weak mental constitution to begin with, or she had some other mental disorder to begin with. That's just my opinion. I'm speculating. I don't know her. I've never even heard her in an interview or anything. But, I just think that we need to have a thicker skin as society. And, I'm not one to be quick to discount people who have PTSD, but I think it's important that as a society, we don't become the society that we're erroneously claiming that we have PTSD just to sue somebody about what they called you on the internet. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's what this case is about. I don't even know if she's filing a lawsuit. I don't know anything about it. But if she is legitimately experiencing some stress, some post-traumatic stress disorder, then, obviously she should get help. I don't think that if she's faking it, then, she needs to be evaluated and things like that. But, it's ridiculous. It's outrageous for her to even begin to compare what she went through from being bullied on Twitter to a war veteran having flashbacks, of losing their friends, their brothers in arms, people they fought with, being shot at, having flashbacks of that, not trusting people behind them because that's what they had to deal with over there, having issues with crowds, things like that, because they have so much anxiety, they're afraid something's going to happen. Those kind of situations, that's legitimate trauma, and I can understand how they can feel that. They used to call it shell shock back in the day. They had all sorts of other names for it, but now we're calling it PTSD. I think it's a real issue. I don't think it's a mental health disorder that somebody needs to lose their rights because they're crazy or something. I just think that it's something that we need to shed more light on. Not discriminate people who are going through these, and try to help people, especially our soldiers. And to Miss Hensley, I hope that she gets help. Anyway, I want to thank Edmund Dantes and Christian for joining in on the conversation and for getting on the move. Again, if you'd like to ask your question, I'd be more than happy to answer it on the air. Again, you can ask it several different ways. You can call us at 619-924-0986, or you can email the show at talk@onthemoveshow.com. You can post your questions at facebook.com/onthemoveshow, or you can tweet us at onthemoveshow. And just make sure that you include the hashtag AskMack.